Hi there, we are the cast of Claws, here to talk to you about women in entertainment. When I read the script, the word I used to describe it was delicious. I said, all of these women, so rich, so full, so vibrant, and it's not often, you get a script where all the women are so strong.
When I read it, I just had all of these feelings that came up. I wasn't thinking, I just was feeling these characters and wondering about them. Right. And it made me want to, get inside the skin of them.
I had never seen such complexity with women, and everyone was like three-dimensional. Everyone had a want and a desire, and they were complicated. They weren't perfect. They were unapologetic about it.
Yeah, I feel like often in TV the women are just sort of like connected to the man that's doing the activities. Yeah. And in this, it's the women that are doing all the activities. So this feels so refreshing and exciting.
They were all the characters, all the female characters were so original, so authentic. Do you know what I mean? So alive. And I know, in particular for the role that I played, I was like, I don't know. This is like the real deal. I think you actually have to go out there and find who that really is instead of me playing it, to have the opportunity. That's how unique, because I saw each and every person. I felt like I knew each and every woman.
Virginia had to fight to survive. She, there were moments in her life that she went through certain circumstances, certain situations that made her who she is. And I feel like I've been in that same position where it's like, I wanted to give up. I've had this madness going on. It's crazy. I feel like, I'm over, I'm done. But you have to kind of pull it together and hold the faith. And, I had that in my own life as well.
I think Quiet Ann and I are both very loyal. We're both intimate about our circle of people with whom we surround ourselves with. You know what I mean? Skeptical about the world around us, but extraordinarily faithful to whom we ally ourselves with.
I play Polly, and she's an identity thief. She was in jail for that. But she also puts on a front, and underneath there's a lot of other stuff going on, and there are a lot of layers, and I can relate to her that way because I think, as a woman, but also I grew up in the South, and, we're sort of conditioned and encouraged to, put on a face. I think the world's encouraged to put on a face, but women in particular, everybody is just presenting their just most beautiful, most positive, most flawless side of themselves. And it's very curated. And so I can relate to that tendency to do that, but knowing that there's a lot of stuff underneath that I can't wait to spring on people.
What you do?
I'm nothing like my character. She's sort of like Southern and trashy, rough around the edges, too much. So it's been a stretch.
You guys know me. So how do y'all think I'm most like Desmond?
Mama.
In your face.
Taking care, fighting for everybody.
That's exactly it.
Y'all answer my question.
Niecy 100% has our back all the time.
All the time. All the
Just like
time.
Desna does.
Yes.
In Hollywood these days, I think it's really rare to have an empowered female role. I mean, you look at the beginning of film and the silent era, before the women had the right to vote even, women were very powerful in Hollywood. More scripts were being written by women, and then something shifted. And I think it was probably the 30s and the Hays codes when morality started playing a part, and also when we got talkies and the men started seeing, this industry could make money. They took it over, and then men started writing, and then the women's roles started becoming less and less interesting. And we've been having a fight for a long time to get them back to a place that is complicated and challenging and not just your typical stereotypes.
What happens with you do one thing well, and then you have to do many versions of that one thing well, or they can only see you as one thing, and particularly women of color.
Yes.
Do you know what
Yes.
I mean? I get the sassy everything.
Yes.
From the sassy
I
nurse,
second it.
Yes.
you know, to the sassy receptionist, the sassy maid, the sassy meter maid, or the sassy this or the sassy that, and you have to make a living, or you buy into it, or try to add variety. So to have an opportunity like this, to go completely against it and to take a risk, to realize it is almost overwhelming.
And it's encouraging that, like, to see a group of diverse women that are all friends. Normally it's a black show, it's a white show, it's Latina, but to see all these women, like, naturally have each other's back and it not feel contrived and it feel like the world.
They're not going after each other.
Exactly.
You know, they're divining their individual power from the collective.
Right. And showing the human experience, that they're all humans.
I know for me, I felt like the industry was very polite, but they did in that way that they said you have a lane. Like you do one thing. You do broad comedy and sketch, and that's your bit.
Sure.
And we thank you for it. And when we call you in, we know what we're getting.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And where I would see some of the pieces that had more layers and more texture, and say, "Oh, I want to go over there and play with them. What is that? No. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're sending in this person for that.
Yeah.
So and so read for that.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, could I just at least read for it? You know? And it was like, no, ma'am, Pam.
Yeah.
But then, you know, you say, how do you break out of it? I had really detailed conversations with my team about the kinds of things that I wanted to do to change the conversation. And not even necessarily book, just be in the room. That's my part. My part is to
Get me
book.
in the
Your
room.
part, just get me in the room. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so in that way, I was able to, you know, come across some other things that started to move the needle on the dial to ultimately get me here. So
It was important to us. You know, Elliot Lawrence wrote the script, and it was important as we were building the show that we had women involved. Rashida Jones and Will McCormick wanted females involved behind the scenes, just, you know, from writers to directors. There's no way you can do a show about female empowerment without women. So many times when you go to production meetings, it's all guys. And then it's all guys deciding what people wear, what the scripts are, how women feel. So to actually be in a writer's room, to have women going, no, Polly wouldn't do that. Jen's not doing that, like, because they're bringing their life.
sometimes I've had a few moments on set where you look around and you see a woman who has written the episode, you see a woman who's directing the episode, you see women who are leading the charge in our roles, and the boys are just there holding cables. Just moving furniture.
I mean, we have women cutting the show, editing the show,
Right.
and that's huge.
I find in this show, there's a real permission
Yes.
for me to come to you
Right,
as my
right,
boss
right.
and say, you know what, I don't feel right about such and such and
Right,
such.
right.
And I haven't really experienced that in this at this
interesting.
level.
Yeah.
You start to feel like you have to always ask for permission.
Right.
Because we were sort of ingrained to do that anyway, or I know I grew up that way. And so when it is a lot of women behind the scenes and camera and producing, you feel like you already have a seat at the table. You know, you can just really like speak from wherever you are and not have to couch it in certain weird ways, which I don't think men directly ask me to do, but I think I grew up first and foremost as somebody who needed to be like pleasing.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. And saying,
And not be too much.
I'm sorry. Like,
Oh my God.
I literally had a producer say to me, stop saying I'm sorry. You're allowed to yell. You're allowed to give a demand and not apologize for it.
Are you, though?
Yeah. I mean, you have to. We
I
have
know,
to
but
do that.
I say I'm sorry all the time.
It's we're ingrained to say it.
And we learn that, and we hear a lot of that on the set. And I tell us, stop saying I'm sorry all the time.
Yeah.
And I find myself saying it too. And I find myself making demands of, you know, when we have conversations, we insist on having conversations, holding back, getting frustrated when I feel that things need to be, because we love our show so much that we insist on raising the bar of things that need to be better. All the first season frustrations that we need, we demand more of it, you know, and we have to talk about it, communicate. Niecy's an outstanding communicator. She's such a leader. You know what I mean? And
You should work for the
always
embassy.
lovingly.
She should work for the embassy. She is diplomatic. She gets shit done.
For me, it's different because I am a young actress. I am just starting my acting career. And one thing I would say is to hold on to your faith, and if you strongly believe in yourself, to keep pushing.
Learn your craft. Study, because see what happens is we're in a microwave generation, and everything is shorter, quicker, faster. And if you can find your way in reality TV, some people think that that's acting, but that's very different than learn lines and cues and you know, trying to find the complexity in the role and, and being true to a character. It's just a very different thing. So I would absolutely say study your craft, and then I would say make sure you know the difference between whether or not acting is a hobby or the call on your life, because you'll approach it in a different way. If it's just something to do,
Right.
you know what I mean, and you just do it for fun, that's very different from what you bring to it if you know it's a part of your journey and your destiny.
Being a young actor, I got nervous and I had, you know, my own insecurities, and you always told me,
Trust
your gift.
trust your gift. And that helps me out. Thank you, Niecy, for, you know, always spreading that word, because it is very important.
First of all, you're welcome. But second of all, this is the point. It's sisterhood. Like we can't watch you fail. And I told you that. I said I don't care what happens on this set, you will not fail. Why? Because we're not gonna let you. Which is the same thing Janine told me when I said, wait a minute, you know, being the lead of a 1 hour, that's not on my resume. She said it is now, and we're not gonna let you fail. You continue to pay that sisterhood forward, no matter what.
We all went to nail school together, and it was so fun and poorly ventilated, and we had the best time. I mean, we learned everything. We learned like acrylics, cutting, filing. It was wonderful. And also that's like before we shot anything, so we all just got to like be in a room together, hang out, kiki. It
made it hard on my girls though, because when I went back home, I was like, give me your hand.
My character style definitely makes me feel more in tune with Virginia. It's the whole shebang. It's the wig, the makeup, the lipstick, the shoes, everything. Like once I put it on, I really feel like I'm transforming and like turning into her. And even when I have fittings with wardrobe, I'm like, Virginia's not gonna wear that. She needs some brighter colors. Is her booty not out? No, she ain't wearing that. She needs her cheeks out.
This is one of the things I will tell you has been a blessing about working with so many women, is that in creating Desna's look, the original direction of it, I didn't love it.
I do too.
Well, no, but here's the thing though, but as a woman, you understand that when you don't like the way you look, it's hard to move from there. I love that it was so many women who got that, and it's not like a man just being like, what, it looks fine. You know what I mean? And then you have to explain and debate it. And then when we kind of brought her down a pinch, changed the hair, I looked in the mirror and I was like, this is her. This is who she is.
Polly's look is kind of like her, you know. You're seeing one thing, but underneath there's something completely different. It's very important for Polly to be presented and to present herself to the world as, you know, a socialite from Hilton Head or whatever, even though she just walked out of prison for identity theft. So I like that idea of Polly is putting on a costume. She is putting on a character and playing it as well as she can. But that thing unzips, and then other little people start coming out, and then it zips back in. And that's just really fun as an actor. It's like such a gift.
Jen's outfits do a lot of my acting for me. Like I don't have to, you know what I mean? Like I'll be thinking about a scene and whatever, and then I get dressed in like a leopard bodysuit, some jeans that I should never be wearing. They are far too tight. Hair. Everything, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, you can tone it down. Like this is already saying so much. You can kind of just say the word.
Again, as a young actress, it's such a pleasure and honor to be working alongside all of them, and it's kind of like having my own acting school teachers in a sense. You know, once I got on set after the pilot, I was like, oh, okay, they're real actors. Like, wow, I need to get it together. So sometimes I'll just be on set and I'll like watch you and like it influenced me and it helped me to perfect my craft and just tap into my artistry more. Or you will even tell me sometimes like, hey, Karuch, I think you should do like this. I'm like, oh, okay, and I appreciate that and I love that because we love each other.
We do. I have to agree with that. I think that I learned something from all these women every day. We do have each other's back. We're with each other more often than any casting director is here. So we do have each other's back in terms of how our characters operate daily. I might get emotional here.
I felt like I was going to cry a couple times too.
Oh shit. Yeah. I mean, Jen is like relentlessly kind, and so is Nisi in terms of how she watches out for this show on a daily. Carrie is an incredible veteran and just scene partner, and Karuchi is growing and becoming the most tremendous actor.
Yes.
Yeah, it's incredible. I'm done.
When we first started, y'all remember when we first started, like at the very beginning, and Nisi gave this speech. I think we were at a dinner, and she said, y'all, we have 2 feet planted in a blessing. And I just like held on. Because it's true.
Don't make me tear up. I forgot I said it. Don't make me tear up.
Oh my God.
Yes. Yeah.
I have to say that in Hollywood and entertainment, the times that I felt the most powerful is when I said no.
Ooh.
Because it when I entered the business, the people around me led me to believe that you say yes to everything. I don't care what they ask you to do. You want to be a leaf in the background? Say yes. Say yes to everything. And you want to work so bad. You saying yes to just anything and everything, how they treat you, what kind of room they put you in, what kind of service they provide, all of it. Just go with it. And the first time I said, no, I'm not going to do that. I felt like the person I was talking to head popped off, you know, because it was like, wait, who is this little girl? What you mean no? You know how many people want this part? I said, great, let them have it. In finding my no is when I felt, and I could go home and sleep and have a peace of mind about it, just flat out no. And I love that. I love that I found it. And that's when I feel the most empowered.
I probably feel the same way, the most empowered when I kind of told my agents, I want to write on stuff I believe in. I want to write on good stuff and I don't want to be involved in the bad stuff anymore. And when I said that and kind of claimed that, that's when this came my way and other stuff came my way. But when you are a writer and you write something and you're in your pajamas doing it, and then you finally see it and you see the episodes come together, that's when you feel really empowered, because you go, it came from this brain and there it is on the screen, and all of these departments came together to make it happen. And it's a great feeling.
I struggle with feeling empowered. I really do. Like, even if I take a moment of power with a no or with an action, I lay in bed and I worry about it. I don't know. I struggle with it like on the daily.
Because you care though.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
I think for me, power is passion.
Yes.
That's what it is to me. And my mother instilled in me a sense of passion and finding passion in what you do. And so when my passion is being nurtured and met, then I feel empowered. The passion that we all have for it is most of what keeps me going.
Yeah. I want to circle back around to you.
Yes.
No, I just want to invite you to think differently on one thing.
Okay.
And that is that being on the outside looking, I feel like you have to find your own definition of what power is. Because me looking at you, Pumpkin, I feel like when you're loving, you're your most powerful, because you are that girl. You want to serve each person. It's almost like a custom way you move with the person based on what you feel like they need. So it's not off the rack. And I feel like that's very powerful to look into a situation and not just say, well, this is me, y'all, take it or leave it. No, you go, this is kind of what you kind of need. Let's make sure we tuck that in. Let's make sure you have thus and so. And I feel like in that space, your love is a good get. Yeah.
And she can write.
I do like writing.
Yes.
the
She's a great writer.
Funniest person I've ever been around.
Yes.
You guys, don't
Yeah.
mind me
You're so
ugly cry like Karichi.
These are the Women of Claws, and we are coming at you June 11th on TNT, 9 o'clock. It is badass women doing badass things.
Yeah.
Yay!